What's going on? Born for Sports here. The Mets are playing terrible baseball. Another meltdown by the bullpen last night in spectacular bad fashion. They blow the game against the Phillies 7-6. Hit batsmen in the inning with the bases loaded a few times. Put the go ahead and the tying and go ahead run in. Brett Beatty, a rookie mistake, couldn't turn a double play. You know, this is a microcosm of what the Mets are this year. The 2023 Mets. Now, last year in 2022, the Mets were built on great pitching and timely hitting. This year, they are getting awful pitching and erratic timely hitting. Now, people are going to blame Buck Showalter, and I'm not here to say that Buck has been great this year and he doesn't share any blame, but I personally, as a Met fan, I tend to go to the root of everything. I don't go to the stuff on the outside and have the guys in the back who are the main culprits get away with it. I look at the real problem with the Mets is this pitching staff is god awful. It's awful. The starting pitching is awful. The bullpen is awful. After Edwin Diaz got injured, that was it for the bullpen. It's awful out there. The lineup is erratic. It's always been put together to be around what Lindor and Pete Alonso do, and it's not enough. But the main culprit is pitching. This pitching staff is god awful. It's terrible. Last year, when the Mets won 101 games, you guys got to think for a moment. What was the main thing about the Mets that you felt like they could get to the World Series? What was their most strong point? And that was what? It was the pitching, was the starting pitching, and Edwin Diaz at the end of the games to take care of business. This year, we have Max Scherzer, who is erratic at best. He's not an ace no more. He's basically half an ace, and he's an older pitcher. He's given us some good games lately, but he's not consistent enough to be depending on as an ace. Then you got Justin Verlander, who everyone was touting as coming off of Cy Young. Even though he's an older pitcher, he's coming off of Cy Young. He'll be great, blah, blah, blah. What happens? He gets hurt in spring training, and he's been erratic and not good, really, for the most part, since he's been a Met. He's been bad, Now, I'm not here to say, the Mets should have never signed him and should have got Jacob deGrom. No, the Mets made the right decision by not getting Jacob deGrom. He's out for the season. Tommy John's career might not be over, and I'm a big deGrom fan, but I always felt like giving him a long-term deal was too dicey to do. That's the bottom line. Then you had Chris Bassett, who I was annoyed with at the end of the season, but was a solid pitcher for us. The Mets let him go. They let him go. Now, I like Kodai Senga, but listen, Senga's not a guy that I'm going to see is going to be a Cy Young candidate. He's been good for us. He's been solid, but he's still learning his way. He's still learning his way. Quintana's had an unfortunate situation with the cancer scare, so I'm not going to get too much on that. That was just bad luck. But it seems like the Mets have basically force-fed us Tyler McGill and David Peterson, and they've been god-awful. They've been awful. They're not fourth or fifth starters that you want to depend on every fifth day. No, these are spot start guys. Probably bullpen arms, if anything. They've been bad. Now, the bullpen. Diaz, with that unfortunate injury in the World Classic, goes down. You would think the Mets would go out and go get another arm to help out, since they had to move out David Robinson to the closer role, and everyone else is a crapshoot. Ottavino's always been a crapshoot. You would think the Mets would say, hey, let's go out there and go get another arm and help solidify that pen if our starters are going to suffer. What did? They did nothing. They're going out there trotting out quadruple A pitches like if these guys are the answer, and they're not. They're not. So whose decisions were those? Billy Eppler. He is the main culprit for this nonsense. He is the main culprit. He did not do enough in this offseason. He basically took for granted what last year with the team winning 101 games. And even though when they got hit with injuries and unfortunate situations, he said, hey, screw it. We're fine. We're not fine. It's come now so far in the last week of June, we are not fine. Billy Eppler is the main culprit. So everybody can tell me about Buck, you got to be fired, this and that. Okay, you guys want to fire Buck? Fine, so be it. Who's going to replace him? And do you think that that's going to automatically make these guys play better? Look at the lineup. Jeff McNeil was our batting champ last year. He's been bad. He's hitting like 260. Brandon Nimmo's been solid. He's been solid. He's been pretty good lately, too. He's been solid. Lindor's batting average hasn't been great, but he's giving you what we expect when it comes to driving runs. He's basically 1 or 2 in every shortstop category in hitting besides batting average. Pete Alonso's been Pete. He's always going to be Pete. He's been great for us, you know what I'm saying? But his batting average isn't great either, and no one talks about that. But he hasn't been great with batting average, but he drives and runs. Who else in this lineup do you see? You can make the case Tommy Pham has been their 4th best hitter, and he was not supposed to be even a full-time starter. So everybody gotta just look at things. I put this on 70-30 Eppler more. He's the problem. That 30% is more Buck. He's had some bad decisions, especially lately. Sometimes he does not manage with the sense of urgency he's supposed to, and that's a big problem for me. But he is not the main culprit to this problem. It is Billy Eppler. Now, everybody wants Steve Cohen to give the fans a pound of flesh, but I want to ask you guys, what is the move that's going to make this team all of a sudden snap out of it and turn into the team we saw last year? I don't know if there is. It's got to come from the guys on the field. Guys got to play up to their contracts, and they got to play up to their back of their baseball cards, and that's the only way you're going to get out of this. Born for sports.